And welcome to Sovel. Sovel is a turn-based strategy game featuring medieval and Renaissance-style armies fighting one another, but interspliced with fantastical elements. So imagine your sword and shield guys in front and archers in behind, but then there's a unit of trolls on the side, or perhaps a giant stomping around. So you get just, for those familiar with Warhammer Fantasy Battles or any of the tabletop games, you'll be right at home with what we see here. It will be pretty much one-to-one in terms of conveyed over. If not, you'll pick up the vein very quickly. So the way this is going to work is we're going to run through the game as sort of a tutorial, as Sovel doesn't actually come with one. So the initial parts will be heavy on explanation, where I'll go over the base mechanics of the game, and then as we mature into the later parts, that will kind of fade away, and there'll be a presumption that there's a kind of baseline understanding of what we're doing throughout the campaign. So as you've seen in our thumbnail, we're playing as the Deepwood Guardians, and specifically the Deepwood Noble. It's an elven faction, so quite potent with archery and a lot of speed, but then they're quite fragile. We're playing on difficulty 6, so harder bosses. Difficulty 5 is the crucial one there, which allows enemies to rally. So when you break an enemy unit in combat, they can try and come back and return to the fight. What I mean by that we'll see in a moment, but this is how we're going to be running it. Okay, we come to the most important selection in the game, our starting 2 units. Now we know the Deepwood Noble is accompanied by a unit of Deepwood Guard as she starts the game, so a unit of spears and shields there. There's not huge value in duplicating it. Having 2 line-holding infantry is not going to help our army, so we'll go with either the archers or the riders. And between the two, in our previous Deepwood run, we prioritised cavalry quite heavily, so we don't want to duplicate that too much, so we'll go with the unit of archers, which is nice and balanced. Come to our second unit. Again, the stag riders, the heavy cavalry there, are remarkable. So these effectively are Deepwood, they're wood elves, aren't they? They're almost like miniaturized chariots in their own right, so 5 small chariots smashing into things. They get amazing bonuses, but we already played with them, so we're going to go with a different unit. We're going to go with a treant. Think giant kind of wood monster. Act 1. This is the campaign map. So our objective, of course, is to make our way left to right and fight our way through all the enemies to get to this boss over here. So we start on this side and we navigate our way into these points. So I'll go over what each of these are. Cross swords are battles in which our army faces an enemy army in exchange for experience and gold at the cost of potentially sustaining casualties. Question mark dice are random events. Difficult to describe what these are in advance until we get to them, but any number of things could happen. You encounter a mercenary who will join your army in exchange for a percentage of all the gold you make, or a holy lake that will bestow a blessing on one of your units, or a tomb you could risk delving into for treasure, stuff like that. So we'll see a couple of those throughout the campaign. The reason why you take battles to take gold is because you can spend them in shops. These are these armories, these kind of anvil symbols. You can buy new units and upgrade the ones you already have. Elite battles are these kind of swords down, effectively the equivalent of standard battles but harder in exchange for more gold. And then these campsites are tent symbols. You take those instead of fights where you can't generate any gold, but instead you get a round of healing on all of your troops, and then you're given a choice between either a point of experience or a second round of healing. Now, in terms of our overall strategy as we make our way through the campaign, our objective is to take as many fights as possible. The reason we're going to do that is because it allows us to generate as much gold as possible. Why do we want more gold? Because having more gold allows us to buy more units and upgrade the ones we have, which makes it easier to win the subsequent fights, which lets us generate more gold, lets us buy more units. Effectively, it allows us to snowball the campaign and make things easier later on when the fights are a lot harder. So we want to take as many fights as possible. Specifically, we want to avoid campsites because you don't get any gold. You get the experience in healing, but you can get experience in healing out of the fights. You can take healing at the end of a fight if you took a lot of damage, or you can take extra gold. So you want to make your way through the battles while sustaining the minimum possible casualties. You only want to attend a campsite really if your army's taking some serious kicking and you need some healing, but otherwise we'll prioritise battle. So let's have a look through. So how do we get to the boss here while taking as many fights as possible? Well, there's 3 in a row up here, whereas you have to go through a random event. There's 1 random event we're forced to do there, and then everything after that is battle, 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 shot, battle. So that seems like a very good path. If we tried anything else, we'd either have to go through extra random events or even worse, campsites. So I think we'll definitely be navigating our way up the north side here. Have a look at our army. So we're playing on the beta, which allows us to see the fancy 3D models, which is great. We have a unit of archers, Deepwood Nova, Evania, Frostbloom, Nova, and our accompanying Deepwood Guard, Evania's protectors, and then a giant, the Grove Bloom. It looks rather like a normal giant, but they just don't have a 3D model for the treant specifically yet, so we'll just go with that for now. So you can just imagine, maybe that's the treant. It's just got a friend accompanying them, using them as an attack weapon. We'll go into our first battle. Against a shambling host, so we're fighting undead. So the entire game is predicated upon the roll of 6-sided dice. That's what all the mechanics work off. So I rolled a dice and the enemy rolled a dice. I rolled a 5 and they rolled a 1 up the top there. That was done to determine who gets to go first. So when the fight starts, the game works by alternating units. So I move a unit, then they move a unit, then I move one. So the roll determines who gets to go first, which is fine. For our deployment, you can move your guys around and deploy as you want. Little tip that doesn't really explain very well is that you can obviously shuffle them around. If you hold the shift key while you do this, you can twist and position them however you want. So if you have, for some reason, you have an angle you want to adopt, then fine, you can do that. Otherwise, I'm happy to stay straightforward. As for how we position our units, I'm going to put the giant in the center. The justification for this being is that I suspect they'll have at least one fast thing on one of the flanks. So if I put the giant in the center, I can then have them come towards us and then have the giant catch them inside. I'll show you what I mean in a moment, and then you can sort of be back here. That's exactly what happened. So we have a unit of fast dire wolves on the left flank, unit of skeleton warriors, and unit of zombies. So I'm just going to start moving forward my archers. Activate. You can see your movement there before you start moving in your abilities, which is longbows, so we can move forward. Now, crucially with this, what kind of matters is that, so there's two important keys that you'll pay throughout the game, the X key and the C key. So holding the X key give away what your charge radius is. So if there are any enemy units in this blue zone at the end of the combat phase, at the start of the next charge phase, you'll be able to declare a charge against them. Simultaneously, the C key does the same, but for the enemy, so you can see their charges. So once they bound forward, if I'm in that blue zone at the end of the turn, the dire wolves can charge and hit me. Alternatively, you can hold the shift key and use X and C to do the same thing. You can see the range of your potential range shots. So my Deepwood archers here armed with longbows can hit anything within that green zone. So obviously I'm well within range of everything, which is great. So I'm just going to move forward and twist ever so slightly, so I can hit anything I want. Now we hover over, so 4+, 4+, 4+. What does that mean? Well, when you look at an archer unit, the way it determines, so our longbows are range 30, power 3. So they have the range is dictated by this. That's what range 30 looks like, and power 3 is what the power of the shot will be. So it's staying 4+ because it's determining what our hit chance is. Hit chance when you're shooting things at ranged is your skill. So you look at our stats down here. Your skill taken from the number 7. So 7 minus 4 would be 3, so we'd hit on 4, 3+. But in this case, because we're long range is dictated by the shot being more than half of your maximum distance away. So they're obviously in the latter half there, so you incur a -1 penalty. So our 3+ to hit becomes 4+ to hit. What do we mean when we say 4+ to hit? It means on the roll of a 6-sided dice, any result of a 4, 5, or 6 is a success. So you have an exactly 50-50 chance of hitting. If you roll a 1, 2, or 3, you fail. So we've got our archers, we've got 10 archers, so we get 10 shots, so let's try it. Let's fire at them. It's 6 hits. I'll go over what this is. So we rolled our 10 dice, needing 4s to hit. So the 2s and the 1s missed, and the 6s, 4s, and 5s all land hits. So then after that, we landed our 6 of 10 hits, which is great. We rolled slightly above average. With it, the enemy then gets to roll a saving throw. So the saving throw is dictated by comparing the power of the attack against the defense of what the attack is hitting. So in this case, our bows were power 3. The defense of an enemy zombie unit is defense 3. So when power and defense are equal, the saving throw is 4+, or a 4, 5, or 6 succeed, which is why those 4s and 5s succeed, and the 1, 2s, and 3s fail. It represents the power and the defense being exactly equivalent. You have an exactly 50-50 chance of saving. They're equal. So yeah, they took an exactly average amount of damage. They failed half, so 3 zombies were shot and killed. Excellent. They then moved forward. This is the benefit of our little bit of positioning. The dire wolves have charged forward to catch my spearmen, but because I put the giant in the centre, what I can do is I can simply move him up the side here and flank the dire wolves. There's a number of reasons to do this that are quite important. I'll go over them in a moment. So we're obviously within the charge range of the dire wolves here, but we're not actually that fussed. We can basically completely ignore that. So I'm just going to move up this way. I can get out of it, but even if I wasn't, it wouldn't matter. The noble has an ability that I'll explain later. Before they come. Turn 2. So there's no combat, so we skip that. We go straight to the charge phase. In the charge phase, I've gotten into the flank of the dire wolves. So why that matters is because if I stayed here and they charged me, they wouldn't be able to complete their charge because whenever you charge something in the flank, it counts as an intercept charge. Well, if it says charge there, but if they were hitting something, you can intercept them. So there's a myriad of benefits to charging an enemy in the side. I'll go over those when we get to the combat. Forward come their skeletons, that's fine. I'm just going to turn and face them. So, forward come their zombies. Again, now that they're closer, they're no longer long range, they're now short range, so we hit them on 3+. So only 1s or 2s fail. 5 hits. It's the exact same power 3 against defense 3, so save and 4+. 1, 2, 2 are dead, and 5, 6, 8. So I'm in their charge range. I don't want my archers to be engaged in close combat. They're pretty squishy. They're much better at shooting things. So I'm just going to move out of their charge range. Still be here to bother them, which is great. That's all our strategic. Okay, so into the combat phase. Now, the way combat works, you have to first determine hit rolls on the enemy. So unlike shooting, it's not 7 minus your skill. Rather, it compares the skill of the two combatants. So where skill 4 and the enemy is skill 3, we have superior skill to the enemy, which means we hit on 3+. That's 3+ to hit. For our number of attacks, it's determined by the number of attacks you have on the kind of unit card. So a Treant comes with 5. So we have 5 attacks hitting on 3+. 3 times. And then the enemy gets to save, so I'll explain that in a moment. Okay, so after we rolled our 3 hits, we then compared power to defense. The power of a Treant is 6. It's quite powerful. It's a big, giant unit. And the defense of a Direwolf is only 3. So in this instance, when power is greater than defense, the enemy can only save on a 5 or 6, which is only a 5 or 6 will save. 1, 2, 3, and 4 will all result in casualties. When your power is 3 or more higher than the enemy defense, the save worsens again all the way down to 6+, meaning only the roll of a 6 counts as a success. 1 through 5 all fail. So I hit them 3 times, the walls roll their dice, they roll a 3, 1, a 3, all 3 fail, 3 walls get instantly squashed. They then hit me back, so this is one of the key benefits of charging in the side. The enemy don't get to attack you with all of their hits, so they usually get 2 attacks each, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But in reality, I'm only in base contact with 1 Direwolf, so only that one gets to hit me. So it did manage to hit me twice, rolled very well, and they get my saving throw. So simultaneously, if power is 3 greater than defense, the save is reduced all the way to 6+. It works both ways, so our defense is also incredibly high. We have a defense of 7, which I think is naturally the highest defense in the game, and the enemy's attack is only power 4. So if defense was greater than power, you would save on a 3+. So only a 1 or 2 fail, 3, 4, 5, 6 succeed. It represents you having the defense being stronger than power, you have a better than not chance success. If defense is 3 or more greater than enemy power, it improves again to 2+, which means only the roll of a 1 will actually result in you taking a wound. I roll double 5, I take no damage. Okay, then I'll explain this. So the enemy has lost combat, so after a combat round happens, a calculation will occur whereby you'll take the discipline of the enemy and you'll subtract however much they lost by, which is how much they lost by is how many wounds they sustained versus how many wounds they dealt, and then they get 1 extra point lost for a flank. If you get flanked or rear-ended, then you lose a point there as well. So they had terrible discipline towards them, a discipline of starting discipline of 7. They lost by 4 because they took 3 wounds and were flank charged. So it's 7 minus 4 is 3. So they had to roll a 3 or less on 2 dice to try and stay in combat. That's incredibly difficult. There's very few outcomes in the 36 outcomes to roll 2 dice where you get 3 or less. So they failed, they broke morale, they ran, and they ran clear off the board. That's it, problem solved. We have no charges we want to adopt here because none of those are beneficial for us. The enemy have gone first and they've determined to try and attack my Treant. That's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move them out of the way. Can't quite get all the way out of the way here, so what I'm going to do instead is move them just far enough to get into the side arc here. So if you hover an enemy unit, you can see they're facing. So that's front, 2 flanks and a rear. So I've moved it far enough so that I can get into the flank here and I can still see the unit. I can clearly be seen by them, but that's not going to bother us. I'll explain why in a moment. Zombie's going to try pestering us here. I'm never going to land to catch this archer. I'm just going to shoot and move constantly. Turn number 4. So eventually, yes, the archers will defeat this entire zombie unit. Again, they can see us, but we simply move out the way. Twist. Like so, we are beyond the range of their charge. Done. Now this unit is moved into a position to try and charge me, so obviously I'd like to stop that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Hunter's Call on my Deeper Number Ivana here. Is going to improve the speed of all of our infantry units, which in this case is just you. So we're going to go up to 13. The reason I want to go up to 13 is because I want to get this spearman unit into the back arc of these skeleton warriors, like so. Perfect. Turn 4. Now this enemy skeleton warriors are going to declare a charge on me, which is obviously unfortunate. I don't want them to charge because I don't want to fight them head on. They'll get 1 attack each per skeleton, so it's 5, they get 10. You can only fight in 2 ranks unless you're a spearman, so they'll get 10 attacks, which is, well, I don't want to take 10 attacks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Deepwood Noble and Spearman into their back and intercept them. So the other benefit to charging in the flank or rear is that the enemy charges are cancelled, they can't complete them. Now, because they're cancelled, they're not charging me, I can charge this one, they're locked in place, so I can send the Treant into their side. They can't do anything there either. We're not going to charge the archers, and there's no point. Perfect. 4 zombies here are trying to catch us, it's not going to matter. They'll never manage it. They'll be dead next turn. There's only 2 left. And again, move a touch and get into a better position. Over here. So here we go. So Evania's going to start swinging. She has 3 attacks, skill 5, so much higher than the enemy. Unfortunately, unlike power and defense, being 3 or more greater skill than the enemy doesn't confer the same extra hits that you would. So you cap out to 3. The only way to go beyond 3+ hits with magic items and stuff. So she hits once. She squashes a skeleton warrior. Excellent. Treant then goes 5 attacks, superior skills hitting on 3s, 4 hits, and then 3 or more greater. Wow, 3 or more greater power and defense, so they can only save on 6+, but they rolled 3 6s, so they did very well there. They hit me back with 3 attacks because there's 3 in base contact. They hit twice, but because my defense is more than 3 greater than their power, I can only fail on the 1. I take 1 wound. Oh well. Spearmen then get to attack in the back. Still greater skills, so hitting on 3s. Equal power to defense, so 4+ saves. 2 pass, 2 fail. They lose 4 skeletons. Right, now undead units don't roll to run away like other units would. Rather, they don't know any fear. They're undead. They're skeletons. What are they going to be afraid of? So instead, they roll crumble tests. So whenever they lose a combat, lose 1 to 3 extra guys. So they rolled a 2, so 2 more skeletons crumble to nothing. Zombies are going to be finished off now. 7 to 10 hits, resulting in 3 dead. Sorry, 2 there. Bit of overkill, and then you can start making your way around here to come help with this. Back to combat. So again, Evania's going to try hitting. 3 of 3 hits, excellent. Destroying 2 skeleton warriors, perfect. Treant, it's 4 times. Treant's doing very well for us, squashing another 3. There's only 2 in base contact now, so you get 2 attacks, so 1 hit, and then anything but a 1, fine. And then the Spearman hits 7 of 9 times, excellent, killing another 6, wiping the unit out. We've prevailed. Victory achieved. So the only damage we took was 1 wound to the Treant, which we're not concerned with, and we'll see why now. So look closely. +1. So with these single entity monsters, with all single entity things in Sobble, whenever you take a wound, you always heal at least 1 at the end of each combat. So if you effectively get through a fight with only taking 1 wound, you have in essence taken 0 wounds. You're fine. So you can kind of gauge them that way. So we're at full HP. The Spearmen start missing a few because of the difficulty you're playing on, but they're perfectly fine like that. So at the end of a battle, you generate a flat amount of gold for winning. All of your troops get 1 point of experience, and then you're given a choice between either resting for some healing in case you took a lot of damage, or loot, so you take extra gold. So in this case, I'm just going to go all gold because we're perfectly fine as we are. Excellent, that went well. Go straight into our next fight. It's Goblin Raiders. We're going first, which is okay. Again, same strategy. There'll likely be infantry in the centre, or maybe an arch unit or something fast on the sides. So I'm going to put you sort of here-ish. It's going to be a bit difficult to catch anything here. But I think maybe the other way around. I'm going to put the archers there and you there. The hope is that if they come barreling over here to catch you, I can maybe squeeze the giant into position to hit them. It'll be a bit tricky, but we'll give it a go. So what we're up against, they have User Goblin mobs, User Goblin shortbows, and Wolf Riders, so they're the fast ones who are going to come towards us. What I'd like to do is I'd like to get my archers on their archers so I can start stripping them down as fast as possible. With these ranged battles, whoever prevails is the one usually who gets to shoot first, because once you start doing damage to them, that immediately cripples their ability to do damage back, which is great. So again, 10 shots, we're at long range, so our 3+ hit is reduced to 4+. Get 4 hits, and then it's power 3 against defense. Only defense 2 on these goblins, they're very weak, so they only save on 5+ even against the longbows. They roll a 6 and then 1, 2, 1, so 3 die. There's 3 less shots coming back towards us. Forward come these, as we thought they would. I can't quite do what I want there. Maybe I can try going around this way. No, I can't quite reach them, because if I try going this way, obviously I can get there, but I'll be well within their charge range. So what I'll do instead is I'm going to spend a turn positioning. I'm going to have you come up here. I don't think you'll be reached by that pesky unit of goblins yet, so you can ignore them. And if the goblin shortbows target the tree and it breaks, it's the most durable thing I have. If they get to there, that's not a problem. I don't want you to be charged this turn, rather I want you to come around here and deal with this for me, so I'm going to have you start moving this way. So, no reason to use that. The shortbows didn't shoot anything. They were out of range, so they were in range of the treant, but the AI has this weird problem where if it locks onto an enemy unit, so they've locked onto this, my spearmen, and they couldn't declare a shot, they couldn't make it, so they just did nothing. which is a bit silly on their part. They could have fired a volley off my treant, but they chose not to. Who are we to stop them? Okay, now it depends. Next bit of movement all depends on what this Goblin Wolf Rider does. So I need to kind of hedge my bets a bit and wait. So what I'd like to do is get a shot onto there. Don't need to go that far. I'm just going to wiggle this into such a way that I can hit those annoying goblins. Start stripping them down again. Can't quite see them yet. Go a bit further. I don't want to go too far forward because I don't want to make it easy for that goblin mob to reach me, but that works fine. Not a great hit roll, but still 2 less goblin short bows. And I'm going to back away from their melee unit, so I don't want to fight it head on. I don't necessarily know if that's enough. They might still catch me, annoyingly. Don't know if I do this, that's a bit further there. They might reach me, which is a bit annoying. Give it a go. Right, they've turned to face me here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Hunter's Call and improve the speed of my spearmen here, which should hopefully allow me to get right up here and hit them in the side next turn. I think I've managed it, yes. So don't be deceived. Hunter's Call doesn't improve my movement, which your charge range is dictated by your movement, so it looks a lot longer than it is. When the next turn comes around, you notice this shrinks a lot, but I think we've still got close enough that I can reach them anyway, so that's okay. Well, they have annoyingly reached my Deepwood Archers, so I'm going to have to stop them. I'm going to do that by hitting them with the Giant. So obviously I'm well within being hit and killed by their Wolf Riders here, so I have to do something about that. They've targeted my Giant, they have terrible skill 3, and they're at long range, so they hit on 5, didn't roll a single hit. So I get to go first. Now it's crucial that I charge this unit first, so that's our range now. If I charge the Giant first, what would happen? Because it's a side charge, they would then intercept me. I would then intercept them, which stops them, which is great, but then my Giant wouldn't be able to complete that charge. Well, maybe it counts as a regular charge, so I think they would, but regardless, pin the enemy in place first, so they can't do anything. They're going to charge me, but not really, because I can just stop that, no problem. Confirm. Okay, the Goblin Shortbows have locked onto the Spearman unit. You can't shoot into combat, so like this. So if I turn around and show you, I can't legally declare the mob as a target because they're locked. Probably imagine there's a risk of you hitting your own guys. So fine, outside combats is good. Another 5. There's 2 shortbows left. And then you can stand there, just in case that goblin mob holds on, you can charge them into the combat phase. So Vanya's going to go, she hits 1 time, no damage. And the Spearman hits 7 or 9 times, which is great. We have better skill, equal power to defense, so 3 wounds. They only hit me back with 1 guide, because we've side charged them, so they get 2 attacks, they hit once. They have worse power relative to my defense, we'll save on 3+. I do lose Spearman, unfortunately. They have terrible discipline, so they have to roll incredibly well to hold on. Treant goes, still superior skill, so 3 hits, and then 3 or more greater power defense, so only 6 to save them, they don't manage it. 3 attacks back, only if I roll a 1. I've got more than 3 power than their defense, I've got more than 3 defense than their power. I'm basically perfectly stacked to crush them. Great, that went well. I'm just going to leave it for a second because they might run off of their own accord, there's no need to keep being aggressive. So the enemy that breaks are now going to have to try and rally to stay in combat. They've shot me here, I don't really care. I'll use you to finish them off. Great, so all their range stuff dead. Okay, so the Goblin Wolf Riders have tried to rally. They needed their... So it's their discipline plus how many ranks you have. So they have 1 rank, so it's 5 plus 1 is 6. So you have to roll a 6 or less, which is not likely on dice. The average roll on 2 dice is 7. They rolled a 10, they failed, they're going to run off the board. Ignore them now. Start coming over here. They also failed to rally, so they're going to keep running as well. There's not really anything for me to do. They'll run this way, so just have you turn that way and get ready for it. And there are now no longer any enemies on the field that aren't either dead or running, so they just automatically lose. Great, so we've amassed enough experience on some of our units to start leveling up, so the archers and the treant. Took 1 casualty in the deep guard, which is unfortunate, but we'll live with it. So our bows have leveled. Let's see what happens. So each level you get a selection of upgrades. I'll kind of explain how each of these work in turn. Replenishment is if you took healing, you would get more. Typically, you don't want to be playing the campaign in such a way that you're taking so many casualties you need it, so only take that if it's desperately needed. Simultaneously, discipline, so improving your discipline by 1 is only a stat that comes into play if you're losing combats and need to roll tests not to break. Again, You don't want to be approaching the campaign in such a way that you need that. Ideally, you never want to have to roll a discipline test throughout the whole thing. So these aren't great. So what we're going to do is Elven Bow Mastery. It's not great as an upgrade, but there's a tier beyond that after that, which is fantastic. So we'll just take this for now. +5 range for all our ranged attacks, which has the added benefit of it also relatively improves your short range as well. Because remember, short range is half your max range. If you increase your max range by 5, your short range also increases by half as well. We get a choice with our Treant, so again, we don't need replenishment, we're fine. We've already got 8 wounds, so that's a bit redundant. Going from 8 to 9 isn't a particularly useful breakpoint, so we'll take Looter, because we're going to be taking a lot of gold with it. So every time we press the gold button, we get 5 more. 5 there, so 65. I'm not going to, I mean, I could heal the Spearmen and get more, but they're still usable at that size, so I'd rather just take the extra 10 gold. Perfect, yeah. Only 1 Spearman lost, so again, we'll continue our as many fights as possible strategy against roaming brigands. We're going first. Presumably there'll be a unit of archers, there's a unit of infantry and a unit of archers on either left or right. It's not going to be immediately possible for me to tell where they are, so I'm going to tuck my archers into cover. I'm going to tuck you behind here. The reason I'm doing this is, so cover, it's a good time to explain it because of how much there is. It has quite a few mechanics. One is that enemy, your archers, I'll just ready and show you what I mean. Yeah, the archers are there. So enemy archers on our archers can see into cover like this, but they can't see beyond it. So the only way they're going to be able to legally shoot anything is if they move forward. So that, and touch this, once they touch it, they can then see past it and see everything there. So I'm going to go first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Treant as far forward as possible so that they target the Treant, because it's super durable, they're going to do very little damage to it if they target it, so that's the perfect target for me. So they get 1 hit, and because they're only power 3 bows and I'm defense 7, I only take damage on the roll of a 1. So great, it's an excellent damage sponge, the Treant. Annoyingly, they've positioned the archers in such a way as I can't shoot them. Which is what I was rather hoping to do, so I'll have to just take the swordsman instead. 3 less swordsmen. Done. They're going to come forward, and then eventually I'm going to get this unit of spearmen into their flank. So the downside to cover is that it blocks line of sight unless you're inside of it. Whenever you move through it, you half your movement, so it simulates that. It's obviously dense wooded area, it's hard for guys to move through, so you only move about exactly half as far. But you also benefit from cover, so if anything was to shoot at you when you're in cover, this little represented circle here, they would suffer a -1 to hit penalty. So it's hard to hit guys who are hiding behind trees. They've got a lot of cover to work with, as you'd expect. Charges. Right, they're going first. They hit the Treant a lot of times, so I'll probably take some damage here. Not a single one. We take none whatsoever. I'm lying. Great, so I can probably get the Treant into their next turn. So what I'll do is I'll just strip down the archers again. And I'm no longer afraid about being shot because that unit's going to be significantly engaged. Now, the reason my archers can move so well through cover, they're not being slowed down, is because they have Scout. Ignore difficult terrain, so that the penalty from having to move through this doesn't matter. I can just move exactly as fast as I was moving through regular stuff. I'm just going to inch forward, see if I can get into short range. They are now, it's 3+, so the short range shot. Benefit of having our extra range is it's easy to do that. Less swordsmen. They've come forward to catch me. I don't care because I'm just going to do this. Charge straight through. I don't know if I can actually see them, annoyingly. So what I'm going to have to do, I can touch the archers, which is okay because the archers will never declare. So a little trick is that with enemy ranged units, they'll never declare a charge against you. So even if they can see you, they won't bother. But here, I can see them because of this side, and then if you hover over an enemy, I think I'm majority flank, which is good there. So I'll be able to do exactly what I want. Very good. And then you continue your eventually getting into their side strategy, which is now, actually, if you wanted. I'll probably shoot at them a few more turns. There's no reason to get stuck into combat. They're helpless at range. Okay, perfect. So I can draw line of sight and I can reach the flank. You can charge through cover, no problem. It's just a question of being able to see through it. It's a bit of a hassle. Swordsman unit's going to have to make a choice, so they go that way. Move up here and hit them again. 5 hits. They have better defense than my power, but they're not rolling very well, so they're taking a lot of casualties. And then I could take them on in a fight, but honestly, why? We're perfectly content to just shoot them to death at this point. Yep, so the Treant, so 5 attacks. Superior. Starting at skill 4 is very nice for a giant. They usually start lower than that, so 2 hits and then power 6, defense 3. So they do roll a 6 and save 1. 1 hit back. take no damage. Win by 2. They might hold with their discipline. No, they still break and run immediately. Too scary. Big treant stomping towards you is a bit intimidating, as it turns out. Not going to charge because why? It's just 6 swordsmen. Turn and face. We're going to hit them again. 9 of 10 hits. Excellent shot. Hitting 2, so a better roll from them there. And done. You activate. Come back here. I might put the treant into their back and just finish them that way. Turn and face, and you don't have to worry about their position because they're not going to be able to do anything. Now the enemy has moved from wavering to routing this turn, so pay attention to this. This is crucial. At this point, even if there were still active enemies on the field, after this round is over, the fight just comes to an end and you win. So the enemy's morale is broken; they can't take anymore. They've sustained too many casualties. So if you send a unit into the back, they can't hit you back. So even if they hold on here and turn around, we don't care because the fight's over. We can't possibly sustain damage. They break in this instant. But imagine they did hold on and they turn around. There'll be no subsequent rounds of fighting, so we're fine. Perfect battle. Took no casualties. Okay, and then we've now got levels on Evania and her protectors. So character level. Okay. Right. So coin counter again is you don't get +5. Rather, it's a flat 5% on that little the sum of gold we get at the top. So we get about 60 odd each time. So that's about 3 gold per battle. It's not worth a whole lot. Let's be honest. It's not exactly a lot of gold to get. So discipline's also still terrible because she's already discipline 9. She's great, and then we don't need it unless things are going terribly. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Recruiter. Whenever we buy a new unit in one of the shops that we're just about to attend, they immediately come out with a level and we get to pick a level. So the game massively rewards experience. Levels seriously increase the power of a unit, so getting someone that having to slog through them being level 0 is actually fantastic. And the guards leveled. They can take gold, skill, or replenishment. I think we're fine on healing. I'm just leaving them as they are. So honestly, I think I'd rather they take the gold than the skill. Skill 4 is fine for now. We're facing either skill 3 or 4 stuff, so we're not disadvantaged. Being skill 5 will be useful later on, but I think the gold is more precious at this moment in time. All the gold, please, as much as possible. We'll go up to 415 as we go into our first armory. Okay, so we get to buy new units and upgrade the ones we have. So we get another unit of archers. Now we did take quite a few archers the last time we played the Deepwood, so they are really strong. They synergize very well with the army, but I'd like to try something else. So it's not the best choice, but I think I'd like to try the Eagle. So the Eagle is a flying hyper-fast unit that's quite fragile. It can't really take much of a kicking, but it's great for positional play where you can get it around and sneak it behind things. So we've got Eagle, and we'll immediately give it an attack because going up from 3 to 4 is a big deal. Great, we have an Eagle. So 210 would be enough to buy another unit, or I can buy some upgrades. In terms of kind of strategy here, I think buying the extra unit would actually be the way to go. So in this case, I will buy. I really, really don't like chariots fundamentally. I don't think they're particularly good, so I'm going to leave those at home. The melee upgrades for the Deepwood Guard are nice and all, but I don't really care. They're not going to be spending too much time in combat, so maybe later. So if I buy the archers, that leaves me, what, 12 and 10, so 22. 22 is enough to do nothing, so once I buy that, that's us committed. But I think that's the strongest thing we can do for now, so yeah, I'll take the extra unit of archers, which gets a level immediately, but you can reroll one, it's great. So quite rare that you buy 2 units in the first shot, but we managed it. So it's also a retinue unit, so our noble has transferred over to here, so I'm just going to, you can stretch and shrink your units as you see fit here. So with archers, you're not actually that concerned because melee units would care because it dictates how many attacks they get if they were stretched thin or longer, but archers get all of their shots no matter how deep you put them, so being nice and deep just means that it's easy to maneuver. I'm going to do this just because it looks nice, but it isn't strictly necessary. Go into a random event, which is a circle of power. Okay, so our Evania's going to get a spell here, so just pick what I want. You can either throw a fireball around. 1,000 Mouths is a kind of lot 3d3, so anywhere between 3 and 9 power to hit, so I'm just summoning a bunch of small mouths to tear the enemy, or Frostward, which is a load of extra damage, rather a load of resilience in exchange for not being able to do much damage back, so +2 to your damage saves in exchange for re-rolling your successful attacks. So if you get a hit, you have to roll it again and maybe convert it into a loss. Of those, I'm just going to take the fireball, just chucking around a fireball every now and then is quite useful. Great, you can now participate arranged with your archers, which is great. Go into the next fight against Orc Raiders. They're going first, which is good because I like to see where they're going to move. So we have our eagle to fly around the sides now. So what we'll do is we'll put the giant, our tree ant, in the centre. It's not a giant, it's a tree ant, don't be deceived. I'm going to put the eagle in the cover. So flying units have some interesting interactions with cover. They don't benefit from cover itself because, of course, they're not in the tree line, they're above the tree line, so anything shooting just shoots directly. The upside is that all flying units disregard terrain, so you don't have to worry about being slowed down by this. You can just rocket forward and get the full movement as you see fit. Otherwise, we've then got a unit of archers. We put here, we've got a unit of spearmen, and I kind of want to maybe just like this is fine. Ready? Okay, so up against orc brutes, so heavy orc warriors, standard orc warriors, another block of orc warriors, and a chariot on the side. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll probably get a pincer on these because they're quite tough. So we need to use our. So we can immediately get a flank if we want to. We can hit them on the side, but I think we'll be greedy and we'll wait until we get a rear charge on them later. Chariot has barreled towards us, which is okay. Just makes it easy for me to hit it in the and then get out of its way. So our 10 shots, hitting 3 wounds. So we've got 2 left. And just get out of its charge radius, please. I want to move in such so be kind of a bit of foresight here. My intention is to shoot it with this unit of archers as well. We might struggle if I directly block my own line of sight by moving it forward, but I think I can just about, if I do this and then twist this way, and then just make it so I get the easiest draw there, so I'm not blocking my own shot. Forward come the orc warriors, it's not much of a concern. You can just kind of move forward and twist. I'm going to throw the fireball now, because it has good odds of dealing those last 2 wounds. Yeah, okay. So a fireball works as you roll a dice, and that's how many shots you get. So anywhere from 1 to 6. We rolled 1, so we got the minimum number of shots and survived. So fine, we'll shoot you not regularly. And we do 1 more. It's still okay, I'm going to have to shoot it again next turn. Irritating. Not the end of the world though. And then for my other units, the spearmen can just come forward and start holding ground against these orc warriors. And then the giant. So orc warriors and brutes. I kind of want to hit the brutes with 2 units at once. I'm going to have you come forward. Too far forward, which they'll do. We'll allow the enemy a chance to make a positional mistake and then capitalise on it. Turning to face us there, which is okay. I'm happy to presume that you're going to die after this shot, so I'm going to use the archers first. Do 2 wounds, yet I don't have to worry about being caught, and we'll get you this way. Far enough away from that up unit so it can't catch you. So that's good. Okay, let's start. I think the best bet for this archer unit is to shoot this orc warrior. The reason being is that, obviously, if we can kill a unit outright, it helps us out a lot versus the fire. So throw another fireball at them. Fireballs are, you get random shots, which is nice, but they have great damage, like power 5 or something. So even the defense 4 of these can save on 5 or 6, which is good. They haven't moved yet, so I'm not going to go charging towards them, rather I'm just going to take the long range shot. We reroll 1s, so our 1s get another chance to turn into a hit. So yeah, we're halfway through the unit already. They come this way, which is annoying. They're going to get in the way of my tree ant. Can they stop me from slipping by them? Well, yes, they can. It's just a bit too... I have to go right far over to the side here. Okay, I've managed to escape them, which is good. They can't reach me. I can get to the side of the brutes. And because I've got what I wanted, I've got my pincers, so they can't hit, turn around, and hit them back. As for you, I don't want you fighting 20 orc warriors head on, you'll lose, so we'll tactically advance in the opposite direction of the enemy. So we'll go ahead and defeat this orc brute unit. It's quite nasty, it's the strongest thing they have, so yeah, power 5, defense 5 is pretty good, so we can get a good pincer on them and surround them, crush them. Now is the time. Orc warriors that come there to try, and they're going to lock onto my archers. It's a bit annoying. I could probably still kind of squeeze. So I can escape this turn, no problem. What scares me is next turn, thinking about how I'm going to go to get away from them. So I might forfeit my shooting. So ordinarily I just do something like this, just get forward and then twist. That works, but then it's... I guess I can escape that way next turn if I had to. 10 hits, killing an orc warrior. Forward they come, giving me a close range shot, which is very kind of them. 9 of 10 hits, pretty good. Killing only 1, they had an amazing save, but it makes it easy for me to get away from them now. I'll finish them off next turn. Do I want to use Hunter's Call? Not really. You're going to turn around and start flanking this big unit of orc warriors. Let's try and avoid the tree line there, because it'll cut our movement in half. do this. So Treant gets 5 attacks. They're still only skill 3, the brutes, so we're hitting them 3s. But they are defense 5, so they get to save on 5+ rather than 6+. They get 2 attacks back, they get 1 hit. I save on 3+ because there's only 2 difference between power and defense. Power 5, defense 7, but I still save. Eagle then goes 4 attacks, getting 3 hits, doing 2 casualties. Now they have terrible discipline as orcs, so they should run here. Yep. I'm not going to charge them because the likelihood is I'll give them a chance to run off the field without having to engage them again. You're going to turn and pester my poor spearmen. How uncharitable of you. All I'll do is I'll put the archers right behind them then. Good hits. Doing very well with the saves. They're using those shields quite well. You're going to turn and hit this unit of archers. Again, don't really care. Roll the 1s, please. Get 3 hits become 6 hits. 2 less. Finish those off next turn. Around here and around. And I'm going to use Hunter's Call because I want this unit of spearmen to get a good move on here. I don't want you to be trapped. They rally, so I will have to do something about that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you come around here. I could engage it this turn, so I could side charge them with this unit and rear charge them with this one. They'll get 4 attacks on me, which is annoying, so 4 attacks hitting on 4s to get an average of 2 hits, and then power 4 against defense 4, it's exactly, you get an average of exactly 1 casualty, so they will likely kill one of my spearmen, but that's fine. They've come back, so I need to kill them again, so we'll do the exact same strategy. Put the giant into their flank, if I can, so I can see them, and it's obviously majority, in fact I don't have to be so stingy by twisting, there we go. Get overwhelming majority in the side, and I can see them, and then you can hit them in the back. That's all she wrote. Recharge and flank charge. Now this one, do I want to take these irritating orc warriors on, or do I just want to dance around them? I think if I do it, I can kill this unit and then break them all this turn, so yeah, I'll risk sustaining a few casualties on the Deepwood Guard. Turn and face, I turn and face, shoot them, and you kill 2 orc warriors, 9 of 10 hits. They were both dead exactly, good, managed it. And we'll start charging this way because we want to get to that, in case that unit is holding on. We will never want to charge it there, that would be terrible, but still. 4 or 5 hits, hit Treant kills 1 and 3. Even if they do a wound, I heal 1, so it won't count. Eagle picks off another one, just helps with combat res. Used by 6. Tall order for them. Over here, okay, so the protectors are going to go 8 attacks because there's 8 of them, better skill, so 8 attacks, 3s, 4 of 8 hits, and then equal, no, in fact, worse power to defense, so they save on 3+. Hit me back 4 times, they get exactly 2 hits, which is exactly 1 wound. That is precisely what we gamed out would happen. Then the archers go, probably killing off a few. I was hoping for more than that. Really good rolling on their part, but still hopefully enough to break them. It is. I didn't. Orcs in general have good otherwise stats, so high defense and power, but terrible discipline. So if you can get them in a disadvantageous position, they'll usually run. Okay, so everyone at full HP is of course going to take gold. I might finally suck it up and start healing those Deepwood Guard, because that's not really a viable unit. 7 guys. That's pretty good. They can fight in 3 ranks, so I'm fine to leave them squashed like that. Otherwise, yeah, that's a good time to heal, because we're about to go into an elite battle. Gundrick Anvilhide, so dwarves, quite slow but heavily armoured and tough as nails. They're going to be hard to shoot through, so but we can benefit from out-positioning them. So I want to put the giant on the flank this time because there'll be something over there I want to hit. I don't want you to be too far forward. There'll be surely at least some kind of archer unit. They'll have some range potential at the back. They have a cannon. That's really bad, and it's on the wrong side. I wanted my eagle to deal with that. I don't want the cannon to hit the... Desperately want it to not hit the giant. There's obviously no way I can engage it, so what I'm going to have to do is just get you out the way like this behind cover. Cannons are devastating against giants because they do lethal hits, so if you hover over them, they're lethal shots, so it's going to shoot me now. Okay, so it gets a... They only get 1 to 3 hits, so they roll a dice, 1, 2, or 3, but then it's power... Was it power 8? So it's immensely powerful, and then any hits that go through deal double wounds. So against multi-wound targets like these, they could in theory do 6 wounds in a single shot. In this case, they've just killed an archer, which is fine. Yeah, really unfortunate the eagle's on the wrong side. Should have put it in the centre, then I could have beelined over for it. Oh well. What I'll do is I'll just have you start immediately heading over there. I'll be able to catch it next turn. They aren't going to move far enough to bother me, so next turn I'm on you. Yep. As for these other archer units, you can just start hammering away at these annoying, super tough dwarves. It's going to take a while, so the earlier we start, the better. And their berserkers, I'll just have you come forward as well. Here come the deep guard. I don't particularly want to fight them. I'm not going to waste any shots at the cannon because it's in cover and it counts as a protected position, so I'll explain what that means in a moment. I think the best bet here is to start killing the berserkers because I was about to say they're squishier than the other units, but not really. We're only power 3, so being defense 5 or 4 is irrelevant, so they're still annoying to deal with in combat, so I'm going to shoot them first. For a fireball as well. Should be able to kill them relatively quickly. I'm going to have to take one more cannon shot, and then I can get the eagle onto it, which is a blessing. Fired again. Kill a few more. Ouch. Please leave my poor archers alone, they're really valuable. Okay, my turn. I know you're not going to be able to shoot again, so I can start moving the giant this way towards the fights. They come. I'm going to position you out of their way, like so. Will they come? Good. I'm just going to delay the eagle one more move because I want to see where these go. So let's just get you out of the way of the dwarf warriors. Don't get stuck in combat yet. Got way too much strength left on them. They get to there. Good. I know where all of their stuff has moved now. I don't know if that's moved yet, but I don't particularly care. Let's go forward. Is that a side charge? Yes, it is. We're clearing the side and I can clearly see them. Perfect. And just one unit left, which is you. Go ahead and start killing some more. The reason I'm not targeting these deep guard is because of their masterwork armor. So they're already defense 5, which is great. But then I'll hover over them in a second and explain why it's particularly not worth trying to shoot them. Got a fireball. Great, and then get away. No way am I ever going to let you reach me with a unit of archers with deep guard. Out. See if you hover over them, master +1 to damage save. So whatever you should be rolling against them, improve it by 1. So it would normally be 3+ with power 3 against defense 5. It goes all the way up to 2+, so they only take casualties on a roll of a 1. You'd be with 10 of them, you'd have to in theory inflict what 60 wounds before they all died. It'd be such a slog. They've moved. Good. Start shooting them again. Out the way. They come. There you go. So we can clean. So the AI basically locks onto target. So that's locked onto him. The berserkers have locked onto this spearman unit, and the deep guard have locked onto this archer unit, which leaves me free to move this around as I see fit. Stand there for now, and then you can kind of move away, turn and get your shot. So a little trick is that for movement, whatever your movement is, turning around exactly in a 180-degree arc costs you 100%, or rather exactly 50% of no movement, so you can game out how far you can go. Shoot these now, so I'll demonstrate. So here's 5 hits, but only on 2+, so no damage. You're going to be there for a long time if you want to shoot them. The eagle has reached the cannon, so better skill. 4 of 4 hits, fantastic, and then equal power to defense. So do 2 wounds, hits back, it doesn't hit at all, win by 3. Great. They break, and then when artillery breaks, they don't run because they can't move, so they just die on the spot. Imagine the artillery's crew fleeing the actual piece of artillery and giving up and abandoning the position. Okay, they've now moved in a position where I might struggle to escape them, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot them a lot and then see if I can get away, because I can't twist through enemy. Oh no, I can just about make that there. Good. Squeak away. Perfect. They've now changed target onto you, which is no problem for me. I'll have the eagle come back, eye up any potential charge there. Eagle coming after that, which is also something I can disregard. Just move this way. I'm much faster than dwarves, so I think standard infantry usually comes with like 8 movement. We're swift, so we go up to 9, and they're sturdy, so they're defense, but they go down to 7. So it's 9 versus 7 movement every time. They can't catch us. Just get back here and hit something this way. I'll set up some kind of joint charges. I don't really need to bother engaging these in combat, because why would you risk taking the casualties? We can just shoot it to death. But maybe I can send this one into the back there. We can kill them with the spearmen. Get why they've got 2 attacks each. They've got good power. It's just a severe risk for really nothing in return. Let's kill them this turn. Let's put all my shots into them. 2 less, and hopefully you can finish that. Away. Start twisting for the next turn. So, they'll come there. I don't particularly care about that. All the ones, all hits. All still alive. Okay, now I'm going to charge you because it's getting annoying. I'm going to use this because I haven't actually gamed them out. I haven't waited for those deep guard to move yet, so I have to get away from them. They actually still caught me. Ouch. Okay, right. We're definitely going into combat this turn. So you're going to hit them in the back. I've got the eagle, the giant, and this unit. So I want to put... Well, I can basically just ignore the dwarf berserkers actually. So let's put all of our resources into this one instead. So I'll have you get into their back by doing this. Yep, easy reach. And then ideally I'll put you into their side by just squeaking in here. I can get to there, and I can twist like that so they can't see me and I can hit them. Great. That's reared and flanked, which is good. And then the eagle can, I don't know, just move over here to help just in case this starts becoming annoying. Deep guard did reach us, but because these are flanks and recharge, they intercept, so theirs gets cancelled. And we can hit both sides. Again, wild, you throw the eagle to its death in front of these. It comes, that just leaves you and you. I'm fairly confident this turn if I put all of my shots into them, I can kill off 3 dwarf berserkers. 1 left, good start. Perfect, okay. Start coming around here and getting away from them. Stand pretty. We've surrounded this one, so they have equal skill. They're kind of more elite, these deep guard. So we only hit on 4s, but we still do well. And it would be 5 to save, because we have better power on their defense. But they improve themselves by 1 because of Master of Karma, so it goes up to 4+. So that Master of Karma saved the guy, that would have been a casualty otherwise. They hit back, they do a wound, despite, you know, the 3-point difference. I rolled a 1. Oh well. We know, of course, that 1 wound is technically 0 wounds with generating monsters, so we're fine. Just leaves this unit still in combat. There's a reason I'm not engaging the Dwarf Warriors. Dwarf Warriors are not exactly the hardest thing in the world, but the Foreman, Gundrick here, is the shield wall ability. So for 1 round of combat he can pop that and allow them to re-roll all of their failed saves. So basically for a turn they become borderline invincible to taking damage. You don't really want to fight them unless it's with some good kind of pincer charging. It's not really worth it most instances, but I've done enough damage now that they're routing this turn, so I don't have to worry about it. They rally, we don't care, they've given up already. You could just hammer the spacebar button and skip all this at this point. I'm just going to shoot a couple more out of spite, because they're dwarves and we're elves and we hate them. Move out of the way, and we're done. Skip the rest of the phase. Victory achieved. We lost a couple archers to being cannoned at the start, but fine, we'll live with it. Okay, so levels. This unit of archers is leveled. I can take reroll 1s or more of them. More of them is nice because you can immediately add 3 guys and get 13 shots every time, which adds a lot of damage. Gold's also nice because we're taking that a lot and it'll help us generate a lot over all of the 5 every time, over the number of fights we have is a lot of gold. So if you're going to do that, the time is now, and I think I'm going to take the greedy approach because I'd usually just take accuracy in that, but I think I'm going to take looter. And then Treant leveled as well. Skill, attack, or gold. Now for you I do rely on your combat stats quite a bit, so I'm going to help you with attacking. a skill versus an attack is an interesting proposition. So it massively hinges upon what you're fighting. If I was fighting something that's skill 4, and I improve my skill to 4 to 5, that would be worth more than having one more attack. That's because of the mathematics of the rolling. So if we just kind of do it in our heads, if I was skill 4 and they were skill 4, I hit on 4 plus, which is 50%. So with my 5 attacks, I do an average of 2.5 hits. If I instead increased my skill up to 5, I would hit on 3 plus. So 5 attacks hitting on 3 plus is 2/3. So it'd be also like 3.66 recurring or something along those lines. It's good. It's just, or 3.33, just more. If you had the extra attack and you encountered something that was skill 4, you only have 3 hits on average because it's half of 6. So it depends. Do we think we'll be encountering more or less skill 4 or skill 3 stuff? I think I'll take the skill of it. I think I'll take the attack first because it's more useful against skill 3 things, and we'll be seeing more of those on average, and then we can pick this up later. Okay, so the archers are 8 of 10 is fine for now. You're the spearman, you're fine, and everyone else is maxed out. So just we're generating a lot of gold, all of our points into looter, which is excellent. I think we have time for one more, so let's go into this. It's the Goblin War Party. They're going first, that's okay. So if they do have archer units tucked at the back that I suspect they will, I'd like them to shoot the giant. It's the most doable thing I have, so I'll put you kind of in front. You can be off the side here to shoot some stuff, you can be kind of behind. The eagle surely will have something to flank, but I don't know what I'm going to be up against, so what I'll do is I'll put the eagle behind this building here because it can fly straight over it without being slowed down. That unfortunately is not cover, I can't benefit from it, so just stand there for now, it's okay. 12 against wins. Short bows, so they do have a ranged thing over there. They move the goblin mob there, but not at all. So unit goblin wolf riders, and unit trolls. Trolls are interesting. I'll go over what they do in a moment, but I'm not going to be shooting at them. That'll become clear, right? So first things first, I'm going to immediately start shooting their ranged unit. It helps out massively with reducing incoming fire coming back at me. So anything I can do to get their numbers down as fast as possible is appreciated. And I don't know what's their range like, worse than mine. So I'm just going to move to cover here. That forward come their annoying goblin wolf riders, that's okay. I can immediately start working them over. Shoot them. Okay, once they have 2 wounds each, kill one, and then I'll throw a fireball at them as well. Not great, I was hoping for more than that, and they rolled top of 6 anyway, just to spite me. Okay, you're going to stand there. You can't escape their charge, and we have a solution to that, so don't worry about it. I'm going to wait to move the eagle because I suspect I know where this is going to wind up. I'm going to just take them head on with the wolf riders because they can't do anything about that, so just come forward and accept that charge. It also means I'm likely to be shot by them rather than anything else, which is good. So just stand there. Forward he comes. Yep, you're going to get hit, which is okay. It means I now know where everything's positioned, so I can safely move my eagle into the flank of this annoying goblin wolf riding unit. They move forward and they just got into range, which is a shame, so I take unnecessary damage there. If I was an inch further back to the side, I would have been okay. Or maybe not, they probably moved in such a way that they got just to where they needed to be, so it's without being a hassle. I trust my archers will eventually prevail in that combat, so I'm just going to leave it. Rather, I'll have you start moving over here to deal with this mob and the trolls. Don't move into charge range, of course, that would be very silly. I want them to hit the tree ant and not anything else. Charging me there, I'll put a stop to that. You're charging me there, which is fine. So there's a reason that you can flee if you have more movement than them, but we're not going to do that now. Me first, good. I'll take the opportunity to shoot that annoying archer unit again. So you can kind of do this on the fly and see if you can see what you want. So get to here, not yet, get to here. Now I can see them by twisting like that. So goblins shooting at me is good. Can I stay out of their charge range, do you think? I don't think I can get around here far enough to make it, so no. You're going to have to get shot, I'm afraid. They're going to start coming forward. I want to see what that troll unit does before I do anything else, so let's have you... I have faith that you're going to win that, so don't worry about it. I'll just have you pop yourself here for now. They come towards me. Okay, fine. That makes it easy to outposition them. Shooting at trolls is usually not a good idea. So if we have a look at their ability, it's because they have regeneration. So any damage you do to the unit, so they have 3 wounds each, unless you kill one troll outright. So imagine I did 2 of 3 wounds. At the start of the next phase, they're just going to regenerate all the wounds. So you have to do, it's all about inflicting enough damage to do like a coup de grace. So I think between the fireball and the archers, I can do enough to kill 1, so it's worth it. 8 of 8 hits, fantastic. I do 5 wounds with the archers, they roll terribly. So now I throw the fireball and try and pick off the last wound on that wounded guy. I do 1 more kill, great. Trolls they're usually a lot more resilient than that, they got really unlucky there. They come forward, they've locked onto the Treant who's in combat so he can't be shot, which is good. Okay, the eagle hits 3 times, did 3 wounds, fantastic. And the one guy who hits me back hits me 2 times, which is annoying, does no damage because we saved, perfect. They've got terrible discipline, I won by a lot, so that should be enough to show them off the field, perfect. Over here, so the reason I was happy to let these hit me is because 1, they have worse skill, so they'll hit only 50% of the time, and then crucially the power and defense threshold of our 2 units. So on the charge, they go up from 3 to 4 because of the hand weapon shield, adding 1, but that still puts them as 3 under me, so I save on 2+. I take 1 wound. Now me hitting back, even without, they're only defense 3, so, and I'm power 6, so they'll be saving on 6+, so they're a great unit for me to just smash. Yeah, even with the charge they lost. They break because they have terrible discipline. They almost always break when you give them the chance. There are no charges for me here, thank you. Okay, what do I want to do? Again, first and foremost, always shoot this first. Get its numbers down before it can do anything. 1 less is 1 less. They're coming towards my eagle, which is an interesting choice. You're going to get locked onto by the archers, I can't stop that. I could just throw the tree at them this turn. It's not a terrible idea, just rid myself of them. I want them to go first though, because then they take a long range shot, whereas if I go first, they get a short range shot, which is a bit of a pain and nuisance. So let's do this. Work you to here and to their side. They move the trolls, which is good. I know where that is now, so I can just start shooting at it. I'm hopeful to do 3 wounds. It's unlikely, but eventually I'll manage it. Yeah, oh, 3, but I got very, very lucky there and killed it in 1 shot. Good. Start navigating the way over here then. Shoot my poor Treant again. Do nothing because I only take damage on 1s. Just kind of hoping to see if they rally. If they do, I can maybe do this. Get into their back. No, I can't quite get you there this turn, so yeah, unfortunate. It's just a bit too much in the way. I can't go over that unit, and I can't go to the side here quite. Can't make it. Yeah, I thought, okay, so I can't recharge them yet, so I'll just move you around in a way to catch them later. So they do rally, which is annoying, so I have to do something about that now. Again, I could just recharge them with these and just go back to shooting them as normal. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Push them off. And I could get a double charge on this, but it's not really worth it at this point. I'd rather spend the turn shooting at them. They turn to face me, which is great because it just gives me more time to shoot these before they can shoot back. Fantastic hits. This is going to do some nice damage. It's going to completely wipe them out. The archers defeated their archers in the end, as we thought they would. Okay, nothing else to do but start out positioning you. So go ahead and put you into their rear arc. Go over here into their side arc. And you can just shoot them point blank. Done. So we hit 3 times. Again, 6s only. They can't hit back. They've been flanked and done some wounds and have terrible discipline, so unless they roll amazingly, they're off. Goblins have the kind of same problem that the orcs have, where they have terrible discipline across the board, but even worse. So this is the only unit they have now, so I'm actually going to skip. I'm going to shoot them twice and then charge them. Might as well just take the extra damage while I have it. They can't possibly outposition me or anything. Also means if I kill enough of them, they get less attacks into the sides, which is good. In fact, if I'm really clever, I can just charge them in such a way that I'll put you into their back arc. Sort of out of the way because you're currently blocking the shot of my archers. Come over here. So you're being a bit cruel now, but effectively we can just move around and shoot them a lot without having to ever actually engage them. I'm going to because we might as well speed this up a bit. Do less. Question for me is that do I put anything? I could just put the Treant in alone, and that would probably be enough. Do I want to put these in? So they get 3 attacks, they get an average of 1.5 hits, and the power 3, defense 4. Take an average of 0.75 wounds. So if I take 1 wound, I'll heal 1 wound, so I think I'll take it. So worst case scenario is I take 2 or 3 and I'll get 1 back, and it should be okay. Skip the rest because I can't shoot them. Eagle eats 2. They hit all 3 times, which is annoying. I do take 2. It's okay, so I'm going to take 1 effectively for my trouble. Yeah, the Treant could have handled it alone, but I just wanted to speed things up a bit. 3 or 4 is perfectly viable. Good. Okay, lots of level ups, which is excellent. So Evania leveled up again. Another point of recruiter if you wanted it, which I think I'll take because again the coin counter isn't worth much and she isn't making use of her attacks too much. She's affecting the ranged unit. So yeah, improve my units please. Deepwood Archer's leveled. I'll start improving your range. There's a later tier of bow mastery that we're working towards. The guard leveled, and we'll probably want their skill. Makes them combat viable. And the eagle leveled, and you take yet another attack. Fantastic. Healing wise, 6 of 8 is perfectly fine. 3 or 4 is perfectly fine. You're maxed out anyway. You want the gold, and I probably will take the taunt. I mean, the archers, I lose a little bit, but I think it's worth it because having more shots every turn is actually a big deal. So yeah, we're rich anyway. But so yeah, that's why we'll leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, please do like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I do appreciate it. If you have any notes on the run, then please, by all means, drop a comment down in the comment section. I do take time to read them all, so any feedback will be taken on board. Or if you just want to chat, that's fine too. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.